Oh man, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Pressing Buttons. Very timely pressing buttons. After what's been happening today. So, what's
Man,
going on,
talk,
sir?
man. Listen, first of all, how y'all doing? It's DJ Sue and CJ, Three Black Geeks. We are here on another episode of Pressing Buttons, and boy, you want to talk about latency. So let's get right into it of pressing these buttons.
Community licenses.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and just not kick this thing off. Capcom. We're a little bit late, but we wanted to stick around, like hang back and see, where this was going to go when the dust had settled, because everybody was freaking out about like what came out of Capcom fighters on Twitter. Now everyone that's seen this is calling all tournament organizers. Check out our new community license agreement for running events with Street Fighter V Champion Edition. It covers everything you need to know in one easy to reference space. You gotta love the wording in Twitter, because that could mean so many things.
Yeah.
So everybody looks, like anyone looks at this and goes, "Oh, okay. Well, let's see what they're talking about." Since they said keywords easy, like easy, like one easy reference space. Boy, oh boy, oh boy! You open this thing up, and this thing is like 20 freaking pages long. It's like several pages.
I have a article that breaks down what it is. So here's what it is. All right. So
And this is coming
Capcom's.
this is coming from Capcom's ProTour.com.
So here's the highlights of it. We're gonna break down the highlights of it. So basically, all tournament organizers, regardless of size, have to get a license from Capcom, either by satisfying and agreeing to this community license or by getting a separate esports license. To qualify for a community license, total event prize pools and revenue from sponsors must be under threshold that many existing events will likely go over. TOs can't charge spectator fees or sell merchandise based on Street Fighter V name, logos, and art. Now, before I continue, here's the thing. Spectator fees is what is the lifeblood of grassroots tournaments.
Yeah, you want to know where your prize pool or your freaking prize pot comes from?
Spectator fees, and also tournament fees as well, because you $5 to go into a tournament per tournament, basically. Usually $5 to $10 per tournament. That's just what it is. That's the lifeblood. None of these tournaments really sell merchandise based off Street Fighter name 5, the game's name anyway, because any merchandise that's being sold is coming from the sponsors, like Mad Cats or some shit.
Correct.
Or if you're Evo, it's from, a lot of up and coming, indie folks that Artist Alley, or people that sell merchandise based off fighting games, period. So it's never from Capcom themselves. So let's make that perfectly clear.
Correct.
Capcom gets the rights to use stream footage or in any photos or videos from the tournament. TLs can use an asset pack from Capcom to advertise the event as long as they abide by Capcom's style guide. That's a thing that happens even on our side as critics, because we get assets from things to promote on social media for movies and stuff. That's a thing. So basically Capcom is giving them images and logos and things of that nature. They put in like a zip file, and it's like PNG type logos to throw up on a website or something, or throw up on a Twitch stream or something, basically. This only applies to TLs in North America, Central America, and South America. Capcom also put out identical licenses applying to Europe, Middle East, and Africa, so it pretty much applies everywhere. And that's the gist of what this all is.
One of the things I wanted to touch on was the qualification criteria. So in order to be qualified as an event, which in a sense, when people first heard about this, everybody immediately believed that this has instantly deaded grassroots tournaments. But it says, in order to be qualified as an event, your community tournament event must meet the following criteria. It says, your event involves gameplay of the game by participants. The prize pool for the event must be set and clearly disclosed in advance of the event, in the event rules, section 3 below, and must be under $2,000 per event.
Yeah.
That's just one. And the total prize pool within any given 12-month period must be under $10,000. So think of
total sponsorship. I think it was at 20,000.
Yeah, like total sponsorship, and that's even on a like on any given 12-month period must be under $20,000. And it says no cable or over the TV, like over the air TV broadcasts are permitted. No manufacturing or sale of merchandise products based on the game assets are permitted. And of course, like you had said, you can't even charge spectators to participate in the event. So how how can any TO guarantee like money in advance for this guidelines if if they're having a certain number of spectators coming.
Yeah, I mean, you think about like already when they put that whole community licenses thing in perspective, it made people really think like, well, what does this mean for like a Frosty Frostings or East Coast Throwdown or Winter Brawl or NorCal and SoCal regionals or Texas Showdown? What does it mean for
Combo
those
breaker,
combo breaker? What does that mean for
Canada
that?
Cup.
And then you think about stuff like Big E's trifecta of Winter Brawl, NEC, and Summer Jam. What does that mean for that? What does that mean for DreamHack?
What does that mean for Defend the North?
Yeah, Defender North or next level,
Yeah,
next
next
level,
next level battle circuit
battle circuit, which is every week.
or
Which
NEC.
and it's more, and I think next level the prize is more than 2,000.
hmm And it always
So
depends. And it always depends on how many people come. Like how many spectators can they get? The entrance fees and the tournament costs and all of that's everything. Everything is a plays a factor into the prize pool.
mhm.
And with these rules set in place, plus you can't charge these people to come to your event. Like it's like they make it sound like the TO's got to come out of pocket for everything.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like, okay, so I won't say I saw this coming. I think it was coming years ago, and a lot of people were saying if the FGC had cleaned its act together, this probably wouldn't have happened. Because people were saying for years that, yo, if all this bullshit that's happening, whether it's the inappropriate shit that's been happening to women in the FGC and the way guys have been fucking being assholes in response to that, people like, fucking Filipino champ getting booted out the FGC. Well, I mean, he banned
I
from
mean,
Capcom.
I mean,
Just all the dumb shenanigans. It was going to hit on Capcom's radar at some point, and this was going to happen.
I
Because this is
mean,
basically a way for Capcom to regulate stuff and basically get people under a legit code of conduct.
see,
Basically,
but CJ, but this has been a long time coming because
yeah.
if we're going to talk about certain individuals, getting banned for X reason or Y reason, this thing
Mm-hmm.
goes back all the way back to freaking Noel Brown
Mm-hmm.
to oh my God, it's Andre to shit that was being called out by what was that freaking podcast by the On Blast show. Like
Yeah, it's a lot
you
of the
think
bullshit. A
like
lot of the bullshit.
you think the stuff that James and Corn and all those guys that were on that podcast, you think that they were just saying shit to just say shit. No, 90% of the time the stuff that they were calling out was truthful and stuff that needed to come in the light. Now we fast forward to a couple of years ago where LTG got banned and Filipino champ gets banned in the same year. Hell,
Capcom. Yep.
and let's also not forget homeboy from Skullgirls. That caused Skullgirls to get dropped from being at Evo that year.
Mm-hmm.
You
Which
know,
we'll talk about that later.
with all of that happening, this is what started the Street Fighter 5 community code of conduct, which also Capcom's rules and regulations plays a part in. So
Mm-hmm.
of course, all the prohibited behavior comes in, but of course, it's not limited to excessive swearing and screaming or threats,
Mm-hmm.
harassment of any kind, such as intimidation of any player, event personnel, or a spectator, either in person or through any online channels, physical or cyber violence, collusion, that's a big one right there, cheating of any sort through any means, whether currently known or unknown, which may include with not limitation, use of external software that directly tampers with the game software to gain any kind of advantage or to create a disadvantage to other players in the game, mod and tampering software by use of a tampering patch. So interference with any infrastructure for the event, including gaming equipment, hardware, game servers, including the misuse or hacking of game servers or facilities provided for the tournaments. That's a funny one because remember when everybody was complaining about the net code and one person on Twitter said, "Hey guys, look at this." Put out that little patch and had everyone play it on PC, and we had probably the best netcode ever for Street Fighter V for all of 1 month before Capcom swooped in, smacked it down, and we went right back to the same shitty netcode that we've been dealing with for several months.
Which I mean, it's their right, to be honest, because you're basically
It's
taking their product and fucking and tampering with it, which you do kind of sort of have to.
No, I get that, but when you have the community saying, Capcom, hire this guy, look at it for yourself. I'm pretty sure they looked at it, and even still they were like, no, we're not doing it. We're not fixing our net code. Yeah, we heard you say fix our net code, but fuck you guys, we're not fixing the net code.
It's ironic because you look at Resident Evil, it's looking like they might be, apparently, just real quick. Well, I mean, it's video game related. The recent Code Veronica fan remake that came out, and also the Resident
Capcom
Evil.
is looking at hiring those guys.
They already hired.
Okay, so they did
apparently they hired the Resident Evil 1 remake guys, remake guys on board. I think one of the guys was like, "Hey, Capcom came to us and put us as part of the fan." The fan, people to, I guess Capcom's doing this thing where they're getting people that are fans to kind of be part of their whole program. Right. So I'm like, oh, so clearly we might end up getting that Resident Evil 1 remake and Code Veronica remake if that's the case. But you didn't want to listen to them with your online coding.
Like I said, pick a lane, Capcom. Do you listen to fans or not?
These are people that could greatly help you, and
these are people telling you hire this amazing person. Which, by the way, I said this on the last Pressing Buttons episode. The patch is fully released for Resident Evil 4. This has been like several years in the making, and it is
with a new level.
It is a badass texture patch. Like this patch completely changes the way that Resident Evil 4 Ultimate HD was supposed to look.
I mean, it's like, well, I mean, it's weird too because it's weird to me that I watched a whole playthrough of it, and it's definitely a night and day difference because there's more details on the guns that you get. Because they definitely look different with the new texture.
It's like way different. Everything is detailed. Hell, even the cutscenes got detailed.
Yeah, cutscenes got detailed. There's a new level that you can drop into. I think it's if you take the because remember after the cabin you have the choice to take the left path or the right path, basically.
Right.
If you take the left path and you go into that house to get one of the items for one of the treasures, there's a path you go down a ladder and you're in a new underground level where you get more treasures, and it's like a room that's like, I guess, a altar place for worshiping the
Sadler.
Well, where they worship
or Los Illuminados.
Yeah, Los Illuminados. That's where they worship at and stuff. It's interesting, but it doesn't. I won't say it adds anything per se to the story. It's just something nifty to look at. That clearly looks like it was very much fan created. So it is what it is. But yeah, it's. I don't like the end game with Capcom in this. Clearly for Capcom to come out with that letter saying that, hey, we saw the response to this. Yeah, man, we fucked up. Our bad. We'll come back to this at some point, which means that this whole community license things for right now is on ice.
Yeah,
clearly on ice.
But it doesn't even stop there. I mean, what was the other thing? Intentionally delaying, slowing, or manipulating gameplay, intentionally disconnecting network cables, attempting to interfere with another player's connection, intentionally interrupting network connectivity. So if somebody actually brought their own lag switch and turned it on, I don't know why the hell you would do that, but disobeying or showing noticeable or disruptive dissent at the reasonable instructions or requests of the event organizer, and players will adhere to all health and safety protocols outlined by tournament operators or within player agreements for the duration of an event when applicable. dude, this thing is so like the way you know. Has any like to all our listeners, watch this movie called They Live. That's what these rules and regulations just remind me a lot of, like living in They Live.
I mean, and it's like it's like again, I know you want to protect your asset, Capcom, but there's better ways to do this because Nintendo's been doing this shit. There's a reason why Smash hasn't been at Evo is because it's basically at least Capcom was basically trying to be sneaky about it, and they
Mm-hmm.
got caught with they got caught. Nintendo, on the other hand, has been getting so much shit for it because it's blatantly obvious what this is. It's Nintendo wanting money. We saw it when Nintendo was pissed off that people were streaming their games on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, how come we're not making money? And I'm like, but dude, like people can stream games. It's been a thing. And they were trying to launch DMCAs against people streaming their games, and folks bucked hard on that shit. And then
I mean, you want to know why people were bucking hard? Because Nintendo, you are the masters of pissing off your fan base.
you sit there and you're about to shut down the store for the Wii. Well, I think was it the Wii U? I
Yeah, for
guess
the Wii U store.
Wii U, which means that's thousands of digital games lost that have no physical copies at all.
Because because pissing off your fan base by shutting down the store on Nintendo channel on the original Wii was one thing. That wasn't enough. You got to go and do it for the Wii U. Like you're really trying to funnel everything into the Switch, which I understand.
But you
But
wonder why people are
but
basically bootlegging your games.
the problem is this. If you're going to shut off service or support for these previous generation consoles,
Yeah.
fine, but bring everything that was on that stuff and put it into the Switch.
That
You
would make
know,
too much like common sense there, sir. You know
it
this.
would, it would, but you know how we had the the shop for getting all of the old retro games. Like it didn't even matter what console the old generation had. The freaking Nintendo store had it. So you want to get something on 64, boom, you could play it. You want something from the SNES, boom, you got it. All that stuff was available, but now all that stuff is locked behind their online eShop. So not even sorry, their online membership service.
Mhm.
And back then, when it first came out, $20, what was it, $20 a year? Seemed like a fairly good deal. Now that they've added the Nintendo 64 library, which they are continuing to update that, as well as the SNES and NES libraries, those are continuing to get updates as well. The price for the yearly subscription has gone up as well. Um, so it's a weird, it's a very weird situation for Nintendo, but
And that's
but
why Evo's not at. That's why Smash is not at Evo because Nintendo was feeling some way that
yeah, Nintendo's feeling
they
some
couldn't
way.
capitalize
They,
on money wise off it. I'm like, you were never going to capitalize off this shit, Nintendo.
you were never meant to capitalize it off the first place. I'm sorry, Sony and Pokimane do not need you there trying to
I mean,
capitalize.
at least Sony was
Because
smart. At least Sony
Evo
was.
is owned by Sony.
Yeah, but to a degree, they don't really
Well,
own the
yeah, I
whole
mean not
thing, but
100%, but they
they
own
have a
like a
stake
very
in it.
large. Yeah, they
They
have a
have a
stake in
stake
it.
in it. But I mean, at least Sony was like, look, we love that there's a fan base for Street Fighter 5. We don't want to fuck this up. Hey, how about we throw some money in the pot for people to play Street Fighter Evo? Fuck it. Why not? At least they were smart enough to just say, you know what? We're not gonna fuck up Evo. Throw money into it. Yes, we have a stake in it, sure, but throw some money into it. It's like, all right, cool, cool. That's what Nintendo should have did. They should have been like, all right, bet. Smashes that fucking damn Evo. All right, we at Nintendo will throw some money into the Smash Brothers pot or something. But they couldn't even do that. They couldn't even do that.
No, they really couldn't. I'm gonna share
It's a
something.
layup. It's an easy layup, and they didn't do
Very
it.
yeah, probably by far the easiest layup. But I want to show you something. Like probably one last thing. So, so look at this shit. So so Capcom once again in their infinite wisdom is telling all TOs that if you're going to run your event through our rules, here's even more of our rules that you have to follow. So basically, keep your logo slash branding and Capcom's logo branding completely separate. And you have to
Okay.
make your logo and branding more prominent than Capcom. So in other
All
words,
right.
I love how they have incorrect, incorrect, correct. So in other words, don't put your little logo over Street Fighter Five. Don't in other words, don't put your brand event and just a portion of Street Fighter here. Basically, you got to make it look like this. And then,
Which I mean, I'm pretty sure you can easily do that in a way to kind of make it seamless without seeming like there's a line drawn in the middle. But yeah.
but here's the other part: incorrect usage of our logo. Don't morph it. Don't remove elements. Don't change effects. Don't compress it. Don't change the color, which that sucks because I actually like that color. And don't change the font. Like you have to keep this thing as vanilla as possible.
Yeah. I mean, and it, again, they want to protect their IP, but this is not the way to go.
It's ridiculous. I see in the beginning of this announcement, I've seen a lot of TOs. They were saying, "Screw this! Like we're just going to take Street Fighter Five off the board and just put another game in its place."
Oh yeah, there's already people taking Street Fighter Five off the board, but it seems as though when Capcom put out that notification saying that, putting out that tweet and note saying that, hey, they're going to revise the community license, I'm like, oh, so it must be off the table because Evo just announced their lineup and Street Fighter 5 is clearly there. So, and yes, I know Sony owns it and stuff, but still, like,
Yeah, again, easy layup
yeah,
from
yeah,
Sony.
yeah. So I'm assuming that this shit's on ice for right now, which
For now.
for now. Then at least Capcom realized, oh yeah, we really kind of fucked this up because it ain't just Capcom that does this. Blizzard does this with their Blizzard and Riot do it with their material. So I want people to understand this isn't like a Capcom only thing. Blizzard and Riot do it with their own games, and I think hold up, I think because I have the numbers for it. So Blizzard, yeah, there it is. Blizzard says that an event can be considered a community event if the prize pool is under $10,000 per event and under $50,000 per 12 months above that. Above that, organizers need to talk to Blizzard directly.
See, but they put a prize pool that makes sense.
Riot sets the limit for community events at $10,000 per event and has a separate third category in between community organizers and pro leagues with the limit of $50,000 per event. Granted, these right holder scenes are accustomed to larger prize pots than the FGC, but the disparity between those numbers in 2000 is still not too far wide. So, yeah, right now,
it's a mess.
Capcom, it's not as predatory as Blizzard and Riot is, but it's getting there. And for them to say, oh shit, we fucked up. Well, they didn't say they fucked up, but basically they did say they fucked up. And it's on ice. They know they kind of, screwed themselves. So it's like I see what they're doing because they want to be the next Blizzard and Riot, but at the same time, it's like there has to be the way to do this that doesn't ostracize your people that that play your games. Because I don't see Activision doing that shit with Call of Duty with tournaments.
That's because Call of Duty has made them money for decades.
Yeah, but that's the thing, Brian. I don't think it's like necessarily Evo has the bread to secure the license, but I think it's because let's look at the community. Let's look at the events, right? Because Evo's the biggest one, obviously, right? CEO is coming up on Evo in terms of being big, obviously. Like I said, we mentioned Summer Jam, Winter Brawl, and NEC. Those are fairly small for the most part. They're
Capcom
decent size.
Well, not even Capcom Pro.
That don't count because that's
Capcom Cup.
Yeah. That's their thing. Count. They own it. It's kind of like the NetherRealms tournaments. It's like, well, that's NetherRealms. They can do whatever the fuck they want. Like you mentioned, Combo Breaker. That's another one.
Combo Breaker, Final Round, Winter Brawl, Defend the North,
Capcom, Canada Cup.
Yeah, Canada Cup, NEC, Next Level Battle Circuit, Momocon. Wait, that's
Momocon, they hold tournaments.
Momocon's not an Evo qualifier though.
Oh, it's not, but they hold tournaments at that big convention too, so they
They
kind of
do.
and they stream it, so it kind of technically counts a little bit.
Yeah, but I'm just speaking more on like
The
more FGC,
grassroots.
yeah, just more FGC ran
Okay,
tournaments.
yeah,
God, I know there's another one.
but it's the,
Um,
the bigger ones like CEO is definitely, you know, yeah. So it's
Hell, not even Killer Instinct tournaments would do this.
nah, hell no. I
Yeah,
mean,
and they're
and my
backed by, and that's backed by Microsoft.
yeah, Microsoft for at least the first 2 years of Killer Instinct was throwing well, I would say 3 years of Killer Instinct's initial coming out. They were throwing money at all the tournaments for
They
Killer
were.
Instinct. They were throwing it in for the pot, and then after 3 years, they were like, you guys got it. It's whatever. It is what it is. So
But for
yeah,
anyone who's trying to run, if you're trying to run like a Rambats or something like that, I mean, this is what you're gonna have to deal with. So,
yeah,
so shout outs to our boys up in, well, they used to be in Baltimore. Our boys over at Xanadu. What you gonna do?
yeah. Which brings me to this bad boy here. So yesterday when we were doing our live show for Don't Be a Menace, this happened, and we got the Evo lineup. So this is the 9 games that will be lined up for the Evo. Couple surprises, but Street Fighter V being Champion Edition being one of
Again,
them.
no surprise.
No surprise. Guilty Gear Strive, obviously. I
No
mean,
surprise.
Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate. I'm shocked.
Mortal Kombat 11, it was more like you took a year off and now you're back.
Yeah. Tekken 7. I mean,
No
it's fucking
surprise.
obvious. KOF 15. Not
No
surprised.
surprise.
Melty Blood. I'm shocked.
Melty Blood? Nah, I'm not surprised. It came out.
How you figure?
Because it came out during the pandemic and everybody fucking loves that game. It has the best net code by far.
Okay.
So everyone's been bigging up this game.
Fighter Z, not shocked.
Not shocked. It brings the Marvel hype that that everybody wants outside of another Marvel game. Grand Blue was probably the one I'm going.
The one I'm like, who? What?
I'm
Why?
scratching. I'm just doing this.
No Dead or Alive? No Dead or Alive? We couldn't put Dead or Alive in that spot?
Nah.
Couldn't put the new Virtual Fighter?
Nah.
Well, not new, but the revised Virtual Fighter that came out.
I would love to I would have much rather have had that in place of Grand Blue, but Dead or Alive, no, I don't. I want nothing. I want that game having nothing to do with Evo because DOA 6 has been infinitely ruined by.
I've been enjoying it, but yeah,
it's been ruined. Like anyone who's a real DOA fan will tell you, go back and play DOA 5. Like DOA 5 is like last round or whatever. It's the superior game compared to 6. Yeah. And
Skullgirls is the shocker because you told me this last night. I didn't know Mike Z stepped down.
Yeah, I told you. Dude,
but you told me last night. I haven't been keeping up with Skullgirls since that Mike Z situation. But when you told me, oh yeah, Mike Z must have stepped down for them to put it on the Evo lineup, I was like, what?
Dude, the moment, like, first of all, the Mike Z situation caused Skullgirls to get yeeted off of Evo the year that it got canceled anyway. But he had to step down. He had no choice.
Yeah.
And I called it. I said, dude, he's going to step. In order for this game to show up in any tournament, he has to step down, especially a tournament like Evo. Yeah. So, and here it is. This is why I like to call hey, you know what? Welcome back to the fold, Skullgirls. it's like Mike Z. Like, okay, like y'all got rid of Mike Z, huh? All right, we'll give you we'll call it a mulligan and keep it moving.
Yeah. Oh, also, there's rumblings. They're trying to get MVC2 back on the main stage.
Oh yeah, they already said it on Twitter.
It's happening.
Yeah, they said, listen, everybody, relax. We know. Just work with us. Be patient. We're trying to put something in. We're trying to put something together. What I am hoping and praying on pins and needles is we already got the Capcom fighting game collection being released in the summer, which I'm looking at it as a big. I'm gonna go into further details about that later, but that's.
You might as well talk about it right now.
No. See, but this is in regards to Evo. Okay. What I'm hoping is if they're trying to do this Marvel 2 thing, what they were supposed to do back in 2020, because remember, 2020 was the 20th anniversary of MVC2. And it's also been 10 years, well, over 10 years since we had a sequel to Marvel 3.
Yeah.
Like Marvel 3 was the last well, I want to say last because we did have Marvel Infinite, but I really don't count that game. I don't think anybody counts that game.
It had potential, to be fair. It's just
It did.
it's just the problem was real quick. The problem with Infinite, I came to a
It was
realization,
MCU versus Capcom.
and that's the problem. It was they were too beholden to what Marvel was doing. Because let's be real, I feel the gameplay for Infinite was better than 3. It didn't feel touch deathy.
It didn't, but it definitely had its moments if you had the right team. But
Yeah.
to
But you
me,
still had a fighting chance. Like a lot of the players were saying it felt very MVC one-ish, which is a good thing.
mhm,
Like you said, if you found the right combination, you definitely could get one touch of death, but you still had a fighting chance.
the right combination and the right use of gems, oh, you can do some touch of death
And I
shit.
really feel like, yo, if they threw in some X-Men and Doom, people would probably forgave Infinite. I really do.
For me,
They would probably have been like, all right, fine. It's a game.
and to me, a Marvel game without Wolverine just isn't a Marvel game.
And I get it's a licensing thing, and the leadership at Marvel was being very petty, which I'm like, that was stupid. But
Yeah, but no, but
yeah,
what I'm hoping is if this, if this announcement for whatever they're trying to do with MVC2 at Evo um goes off without a hitch, that it can finally lead into the the right decision. What other what other factors, what other signs do you need, Capcom, that fans want a re-release of Marvel 2?
yeah,
I mean, can we get that? Like, it's honestly your biggest Marvel game out of all the Marvel games that's ever been released. Marvel 2 is highly respected, highly loved, and highly sought after. Like that game still has not existed on a modern console yet. The last one it was on the PS3 and 360.
yeah.
And it's not even backwards compatible, and those games have been completely delisted. You can't even get them anywhere. So what do you do? Again, Capcom, balls in your court. What do you do? Can you please give the fans what they want? Give us a re-release of Marvel 2 and let the fans be happy.
Yeah.
We just want to play it on modern consoles. I would love to take Switch with me and be like, "Hey, I'm about to play some Marvel 2 on Switch." I would
I
love.
mean, they have to make it work. To me, you have to make it worth my while to play MVC2 again. You have
No,
to do
but
something.
hold on, but I got something for that. See, in Marvel 2, thanks to freaking what's the name of that thing? Not Retrocade. Thanks to Fightcade, there some like the community for this game has made ratios. We got ratio battles for Marvel 2, so you can pick certain characters, in the style of CVS 1, where you can go off of ratios. So you're not just running the same 8 characters that everybody ran in tournaments for, for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
And which is an idea that they could work into this game. I get it. The team that worked on that game more than likely is long gone. They're not going to try to do anything more to adjust it. But if you get the right developer to recode the game for modern consoles, they probably could work something like that into into a new version of the game if they know what they're doing. I mean, again, this is all thought up by the community, the fan base of Marvel 2. And people have been running with this on Fight Cave for the longest. So all in all, I'm just saying, if this thing goes off without a hitch, Capcom, stop being stupid. Give us re-release Marvel 2 on modern consoles and let us be happy. Now, this goes into Capcom announcing the fighting game collection. This fighting game collection, I feel, is Capcom's second attempt
Testing the
at
waters.
giving us another Darkstalkers, because we're getting the entire lineup of Darkstalker games. Hell, it's 10 fighting games, but half of them are Darkstalker games, which did have me feeling some way a little bit, but I'm like, I see what you're doing.
Darkstalkers, Night Warriors, Darkstalkers Revenge, Vampire Savior, Vampire Hunter 2, Vampire Savior 2, Red Earth, Cyberbots, Super Gem Fighter, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, and Hyper Street Fighter 2.
And Hyper Street Fighter 2, please let this be the best version of Super Turbo that we're getting.
I mean, we
Please.
did get the best one on the PS2 one.
No,
that I still have.
no, I know. I know the one you're talking about, that 15th anniversary one.
The best one easily. Like
People still had, I guess, I don't know. Some of the some Super Turbo purists still don't count 15th anniversary as like the de facto.
that's a small percentage compared to the majority of Super Turbo fans that felt that the 15th anniversary one was a de facto
15th
one
anniversary
easily.
was, 15th anniversary was a really good one. It was a really good port, and then for some reason, Capcom just, I mean, not Capcom, but like tournaments just did away with it. They got rid of it.
Well, once they got the board for it, it was like, well, do we really need that PS2 version when we
No, no,
have the
no, no.
original?
No, that's the other way around. When
Oh.
the 15th anniversary came, they stopped doing the arcade boards. But
Mm.
then when we started transitioning over to PS3 and 360, they dropped it all together because 15th anniversary never came to anything else. And Hyper Street Fighter 2 only stayed in arcades in Japan after that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that this could also be a good thing where if we get Capcom Fighting Collection, we can get a resurgence of Super Turbo tournaments again at Evo.
Yeah,
Because
I mean, that would be dope.
because Hyper Street Fighter 2 is definitely, at least in my opinion, it is the go-to for, if you want to play Super Turbo. I mean, you're getting every version of Street Fighter 5 in one game.
Yeah.
It's interesting that we're getting a fighting game from Capcom that has never left the shores of Japan, Red Earth.
Yeah, Red Earth is one of those games I never touched. I mean, I don't even count Capcom Fighting Jam for even playing Red Earth. So this will be my first foray into that
Oh, it
game.
definitely doesn't count because that game was out before Capcom Fighting Jam anyway.
Yeah.
But it's a game that no one outside of Japan knows about or has ever played. So that's interesting. I was very happy to see Cyberbots was added to the list. I'm like, thank you. Cyberbots definitely deserves some love. And it definitely needs a proper release instead of being released on freaking Saturn for stupid money. I hear outside of this collection, I've been hearing that Capcom pretty much gave the green light on what is on a particular project that's already in development, and that is a Capcom 3D fighting collection, which is supposed to be Power Stone. Supposedly this collection is going to be another 10 games.
So Power Stone 1 and 2.
Power Stone 1 and 2. Rival Schools 1, Rival Schools 2, and possibly Project Justice. Those 3 games all
Well,
put
isn't
together.
Rival Schools 2 basically Project Justice anyway?
Rival Schools 2 is more or less an update to Rival Schools 2 is an update to the original Rival Schools because both games were on PS1.
But
Project Justice is technically the third game. It's the third game in the series.
What's the difference?
Well, the second one actually added like all those new characters that were in Project Justice, such as Nagare the swimmer, the girl with the violin, and some of the other characters. They're actually in Rival Schools 1.
Okay, so all right.
So like,
because they call Project Justice Rival Schools 2 in Europe and Australia.
Hang on a second.
That is weird.
All right, I had to get this thing. So this is what it is.
Oh.
This is Rival Schools 2. Now, Rival Schools 2 again, this version never got released, but it never got released in America. But it introduces the characters from Project Justice. They were on this game first before we saw them on Project Justice. So like I said, it's an updated version of Rival Schools 1. Like it's an update, but yet not an update at the same time because they added.
That's what I'm saying. It feels like it's Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition. Basically, that's all it is. That's why I'm like, Project Justice wouldn't technically be Resident Evil, be Rival Schools 2. Then basically, if that's the case,
freaking Ran Nagare.
I mean,
Sorry.
look, anything that will get the Dreamcast version of Rival Schools of Project Justice down to reasonable levels of being bought, I'm all for if they do
I
that. So
I personally feel that from a tournament standpoint, or at least from just just an overall gameplay standpoint, just give us this. Give us this version of Rival Schools 1.
you know they're not gonna do that.
No, I mean they should, because
Should, but
the
they're
two
not.
characters, no, because you can give us the arcade version. Just give us the arcade version of Rival Schools 2 update, and you know because like everything else is pretty much the mini games and the um not it's not a school, not the school diary. What do they call it? It's kind of like one of hmm, not point and click. It's basically you get to go through the school life of one of the students, and it goes in that very visual novel style. This game, this is by far one of the most heavily Japanese fighting games in existence. I mean, this game is super Japanese. Like the UI, everything is written in Japanese. This is why I mean, Rival Schools is probably one of the biggest localization nightmares. Yeah, thank you. School Life, that's what it was. It was a school life simulator, but it's one of the biggest localization nightmares that come from Capcom. You
Yeah.
know, like the Rival Schools that we got was not even a full Rival Schools game. I mean, it was missing stuff. And a
Yeah.
lot of it did come from this.
Yeah,
So
the school life. Yeah, because that was what the second disc?
yeah, that was the second disc, and it was completely removed.
The evolution disc.
The evolution disc, which completely removed the school life simulator. The school life simulator was in the original Rival Schools in Japan, and it also got expanded upon in Rival Schools 2.
Which I
Uh,
mean, to me, I get why they took it out because let's be real, American sensibilities on that kind of shit back then was very much like, what the fuck is this? Now, if you put that out now,
yeah, you
it
can
probably
put
would
it
go
out
over
now,
better.
but the translation for that, holy shit, dude, it was
It's like,
good god.
I mean, after Persona, it's like, well, you could probably put out a fucking school life simulator now.
It's just translating everything. Also, the other thing it took away was the created character feature. You can actually
Mhm.
create your own fighter in Rival Schools and Project Justice. Project Justice also had a school life simulator in the Japanese version, and that was gone when we got the American version. So that's my only gripe and concern is if we're getting Project Justice and Rival Schools in this 3D fighting game collection, what like how much of it are we getting? Are we just getting just the base game, or are we going to get like the whole package? And on top of that, are you guys also going to, are you guys considering doing what Hamster does with the SNK games? Because you can buy those SNK games and you can get both the American and Japanese versions.
Mhm.
So I'm just wondering,
Yeah.
those are thoughts. Other 3D fighters that are also in that mix. So again, you got Rival Schools 1, 2, and Project Justice, or just Rival Schools 1 and Project Justice. Who knows? You
Either
got
way,
Power
that's
Stone,
four.
yeah, Power Stone, no, Power Stone 1 and 2,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I already said Power Zone 1 and 2, so that's 4 games total so far. 3D.
Plasma Sword,
Yeah, Star Gladiator and Plasma
yeah,
Sword. So that's
Stargazer and
6.
Plasma Sword, Tech Romancer, which is the sequel to
7.
Cyberbots,
7.
and possibly if they get the okay from Arika, the EX series.
But see, I wouldn't want the EX series
I wouldn't
personally.
want it, but that makes the 3D fighting game from back in the day. What other 3D fighting? What's the last three to go in there?
See, I was about to say Cannon Spike, but nah, that doesn't
No,
count.
that doesn't count because it's not a fighter.
Yeah, I guess the Street Fighter EX series. I
It's
mean,
the only thing. It's the only thing left you can actually pick.
but then you would have to go back to old boys that did Fighting Layer
That's what I'm
EX and be
saying.
like,
You got to go back to Arika and just get the okay.
yeah, well, I don't know. We'll see if that
I
happens.
mean, all they would do is just go back to them and just say, "Hey, can we? We're just asking permission. Can we release the old EX games, EX1, EX2, and EX3? Because if they were to put all those classic 3D fighters into one package, and again give us fans what we want, Oh yeah, Final Fight Revenge. Thank you. That's also another one.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
another one. Final Fight Revenge. Like I said, that could take the place of one of the rival school games. Instead of giving us 3 rival school games, you just give us 2 and Final Fight Revenge. And that still leaves room for the EX series.
Okay, so I have to talk about this real quick. Not real quick. So, sir, Steam Deck. It's officially out in the wild. Some people that we know got it, seen them on IG, seen them on Twitter.
It's already got problems.
All right, has problems. But you told me an interesting thing because I was thinking about, with the way the crypto game has kind of fucked a lot of folks with the graphics cards. I came to you and was like, do you think it's worth it to go into the Steam Deck temporarily? And you were basically saying in long and
In
short,
so
no,
many
it's not.
ways,
It's not
no.
worth it. It's not
Yeah.
worth it.
Mm-hmm.
You want to explain to people why?
Because I personally felt that if there was no way that you could personally go into the Stream Deck and make adjustments or make any kind of changes, let's say the software or the hardware needs to be replaced, like you could easily do on your own personal built PC or even a store-bought PC, more or less.
Yeah.
You can't do that on the Stream Deck. I would not be surprised if the only thing you could do on the Stream Deck is upgrade the hard drive, put in a freaking an M2 NVMe drive, and that's it. But but if that's the case, why would they charge you X amount of money for 3 versions of a Steam Deck?
And that's not counting the fact that later on this year they're putting out a docking station like the Switch for the Steam Deck as well.
Yeah, so they're gonna basically go the Switch route. You're gonna put out a dock. You're gonna put first of all, you put out the Stream Deck, and you're gonna give us a dock to plug it in just so we can play it on our TVs or monitors. Again, you're following Nintendo Switch's formula. That's cool. But my question still stands is how long can this keep up? Because this is not the first time that Steam released their own console. Remember when they put out the Steam box or the Steam machine? Remember that thing?
Yeah, and then you found out that you could probably make a better version of the Steam box by yourself,
Which
is why you get so many YouTube videos of here's how to make your own Steam box.
There were people who legit took the Steam box, opened it up, ripped everything out of it, and put brand new parts in it.
Which, by the way, I love those videos of people going ham on Walmart trying to sell gaming computers, and they're like, dog, this shit's a piece of shit. Right now them computers are only worth it for the graphics card in them.
That's every store across the country that's putting out these pre-built PCs. You buy the pre-built just to take the graphics card out and put it in your main rig at home.
Well, I mean, now it is, but years ago though, it was kind of like, what the fuck is this bullshit?
Because buying graphics cards now has become a little bit, they're actually more attainable. We've gotten to that point in our lives where graphics cards are more attainable than a PS5 or Xbox Series X.
Oh, I mean, are they attainable now?
Yeah, they are.
When did this happen? Because I could have sworn like 2 months ago it was like, yo,
it actually, I would say it happened probably the middle of last month where graphics cards have been showing up. Like I went inside Micro Center.
The prices tell me otherwise.
Oh yes, the prices definitely tell me otherwise. I mean, don't get me wrong. Do not get it confused. They're available.
People hopes and dreams saying that shit now.
Boy. Hold on. I'm saying that they are more attainable. They're attainable, meaning, hey, they're there. You can purchase them. It's not, you don't really need to wait in line so much and roll the dice and play the lottery and do all that shit with Micro Center. You don't have to do that as much. But that said, the prices for them are still through the roof.
Yeah, because the 3050 Asus is going for $500.
Normal retail, that thing will probably be that's
half.
Hold on, that's 3050, right?
Yeah, 3050. It'd be half.
It would, 3050 would be half, because between the 3060 and even the 3060, when that was first talked about, retail for that thing was supposed to be $400 off rip.
Mm-hmm.
You look at 3060s now, they're like $700. So like I said, they're available. you just got to bite the bullet and deal with that price. I am so glad, and I say this every single day, I am so glad that I bought my 3080 for 1050 at the time, and this was 8 months ago.
That's rent.
It is. It's rent.
That's rent for a studio apartment, sir.
Yes, it is.
That's why I'm looking at you say, yeah, I got it for 1050. I'm looking like, yo, sir.
No, hold on.
Don't say that shit casually. Like,
no, I'm saying it casually. You want to know why? Because you're never gonna pay for that price again for a 3080 today.
Both of us make good money. You say 1050, I'm like, you're fucking me in the ass. You're fucking me in the ass.
I felt this thing. Don't trust me. It was a flesh wound. I definitely felt that flesh wound.
Eris didn't go out for 2 weeks after that shit.
I did.
He went to work and came straight home. He was like, "Hey, Eris, we're going out partying. Y'all have fun. Bless up."
Bless up. Like prayer hands.
Shit, I'm in the middle of trying to get a house, and you tell me 1050. I'm like, what does that come with? What does that come with? Excuse me, baking powder?
Not a whole lot.
Huh?
Not a whole lot, but no, I'm dead serious.
Chris is not going to be able to afford to just throw 1050 at shit anymore at some point. It's not happening.
Listen, I
don't even have kids.
Listen, I bought that 3080 while living in an apartment. I luckily had a whole bunch of money at the time stashed away, and thanks to them freaking stimmies that we was getting,
what stimmies? I only got one stimmy, and the second one they looked at me like, you make too much money. I'm like, fuck you, Biden. Shit.
Oh wow.
Way to tell me I'm rich. Even though I'm not rich. Don't get it twisted.
I managed to get all of them.
The government told me I made too much money, so
Well, I managed to get all of mine. Put it to the side, got my tax refund, put that to the side. I just bided my time and was dealing with my freaking jet engine laptop to play games. Thankfully, I appreciated my 2060 that was in it because it was a legit 2060 and not the mobile version. It was a dedicated card, but I just could not deal with that the noise. It was extremely noisy from an HP Omen. So I said, I need a actual card. And I went through 3 months of this shit of trying to get a hold of a graphics card. And I said, I'm not paying scalpers. You can go fuck off with that. I'm not going to pay like the ridiculous prices that, all these other websites like Newegg and shit. I wasn't dealing with the Newegg shuffle because even their prices were insane. And I said, I'm stuck with Micro Center. Micro Center is my only choice at this point.
Yeah.
So that's when I went to Micro Center, sat in line, and and the line was short because you actually had to join a lottery it was more like a raffle. And if your phone number if you received a text message from them, that means you got selected, you were in the running to get a graphics card. And they called everybody's name. You got called by name, and you had to get in line by the order of names that were called. So I had about when my name was called, I had about 12 people in front of me.
Oh, yeah.
It was about 12 or 13 people in front of me. And each person, and all they did was they came down the line and they just told everybody, here's what's available. So everybody had to just, say, I want this one or I want this one. You had to pick one. And of course, for every graphics card that was purchased in the store, you could not buy another graphics card from Micro Center for a month.
I mean, if a person really had to get a 3050, is that still good for playing any of these modern games?
Yeah, I mean, it
does the job.
It does the job, but it also depends on how fast that card is.
Yeah, the 3050 is it's 8 gigabytes, GDDR6.
What's the speed?
Triple fan.
Is it one? No, that's not important. What's important is it 128, 256? What's the bit on it? Is it 128 or 256?
128 memory.
That's slow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, it gets the job done, but it's not a fast card. So,
yeah,
if you want to really future-proof yourself, you have to get a 250.
Now, what about the Asus 6700?
Going the Asus route,
Because it's 12 gigs and the specs on it is showing 192-bit memory.
It's better than 120. It's a happy medium. I'll say that.
I mean, it's going for 870 at Micro Center, so I mean,
Yeah,
I'm assuming it's the better one.
And like I said, it's a happy medium. If the if the 30 series faster cards, the 256 cards, the 256s is too rich for your blood. And of course, the 128s are definitely too damn slow because when they offer the 3060s, they offer the 3060s 12 gig. You're thinking, oh shit, that's freaking like that's a NVIDIA Titan level.
Yeah.
You're thinking, oh shit, that's Titan level 12 gigs, but it's a slow card, so it really doesn't make that much of a difference. That's where AMD's like 6,000 series cards come in, where they offer 190. So you're going from 128 to 190. You're not quite 256, but at the same time, you're not way down to 128. So you're in that nice happy medium.
Yeah.
And again, I would only get that if your wallet, if your wallet makes you, if you feel comfortable in your wallet dropping that much on it and just running with the lack of ray tracing, which is the whole other reason why I went with an NVIDIA card. I wanted that ray tracing. I wanted the DLSS, where I can run games at ultra, but at the same time not take a frame rate hit. And of course, that was also game dependent too, if the games even supported it.
Yeah.
So I say all of that just to say, if you're really hard up for playing PC games and you need a graphics card that bad, I guess go, money is a factor, then go with the AMD, but I would still bite the bullet and go with an NVIDIA card.
Yeah. So PlayStation did a a random state of play focusing on very Japanese heavy games, and I like to say, for the record, kicking things off here, I appreciate the fact that Capcom is doing a stealth fillers for this game when you see it, because you're gonna. I want you to we'll talk about what the after the trailer.
Okay.
What this hugely reminds me of, and I'm like, Capcom, you ain't slick. Just watch this shit.
All right, let's see what we got.
So this is the first game that they showed.
Hello, viewers. I am Ivy the android.
Stop.
Here today's dinosaur forecast. A dinosaur outbreak will soon occur.
Stop it.
Buildings in the affected area have been evacuated, and a team of exo-fighters has been dispatched. A vortex warning has been issued. Please remain indoors.
Oh my God.
Just peep a certain thing that happens.
Hi, Regina.
I make a sense of this situation. Even if you're not going to keep the records for 2 years.
All I wanted was to be IBS's top pilot.
IBS's latest dinosaur forecasts and exosuit technology were able to keep human casualties to 0. Exosuit development is proceeding under the guidance of the next-gen AI, Leviathan. Meanwhile, IBS continues to recruit candidates to become new exo-fighters, humanity's greatest hope.
Another exo fighter recruit, right? Welcome to IBS.
You ain't slick, Capcom. This is you trying to do Dino Crisis under the guise of a new.
Exoprimal is Dino Crisis. This is Dino Crisis Cannon Spike with a hint of Overwatch.
Actually, with a dash of Anthem.
And a dash of Anthem.
See, I won't say Overwatch. I will say Anthem more.
Well, I only said Overwatch because of the shield.
Yeah. It's definitely Anthem with Dino Crisis and Cannon Spike mixed in. And this is I'm putting in quotes here, new IP, even though I'm like, this is your way of doing Dino Crisis without outright saying, because it's basically what Dino Crisis 3 should have been, if I want to be real.
I don't know. Do we really feel that way?
I feel that way because Dino Crisis 3, I see what they were trying to do, but it was a boring ass dinos in space fucking game.
Which is why everybody only respects Dino Crisis 1 and 2.
Because 2 was dope as fuck.
Yes, it was.
And also the first and also the rail shooter for Dino.
And Dino Crisis 1 is a classic.
Yeah.
I mean, see, listen, fans are quite simple. They're really quite simple if you really think about it. And the problem is Capcom, you guys, sometimes I really feel like you guys are trying so hard to think when you don't need to.
Give me Dino Crisis remake with these graphics.
No. Not even that. Screw that. Give me Dino Crisis 1 in the RE engine.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You can do Dino Crisis.
But that graphics, that's not the Resident Evil engine.
Well, it's a different. I think it's one of their newer engines that they've been kind of testing the waters with.
Yeah, but Dino Crisis would benefit better on the RE engine.
Yeah, well, 1 in particular, because I think this game favors more Dino Crisis 2. Because Dino Crisis 2 was definitely more run and gun. Because they gave you so much ammo and you were just shooting the shit out of dinosaurs. And it's like, oh, we're getting a lot of weapons, huh? And I think they did like a score attack mode in that game too, because it was like points combo. But so you had that, which I'm like, okay.
Yeah, Capcom ain't slick.
They ain't slick at all. And then you have Strangers in Paradise, Final Fantasy Origins. Hold on, bring that up.
I heard about this.
This is basically Strangers in Paradise, for those that don't know, is basically a retelling of Final Fantasy 1.
Yeah, you guys remember at not Evo, what the hell was it? E3. You guys remember a couple of E3s ago we saw the edgelordiest trailer for Final Fantasy ever? That's this thing. It's this game.
Yeah, it's basically just a retelling. Because at first I couldn't get quite a read of what it was initially. And then somebody was like, oh no, this is just basically Final Fantasy 1. And I barely remember Final Fantasy 1 until it was like, yeah, Final Fantasy 1 definitely heavily in the story, it heavily favored the crystals. Hence why in this game you see this. So I guess we could play Strangers in Paradise. It's definitely different. It favors Final Fantasy 15 a lot. Jesus.
Gotta love that Azuna drop.
Yeah, that's your Stranger in Paradise, and the demo was probably out right now. So yeah, that Ghostwire Tokyo.
I know about that. Yes, I've seen that.
Ghostwire Tokyo. Like this is a news trailer for it. Hold on. Fuck. I don't know why I did that. Sure. Again, all Japanese developers. They kind of heavily focused on that today. So all PlayStation 5 captures now finally.
それを利用して冥界と現世をつなごうとしている。あいつはこの先に一体何を見ているって言うんだ。黄泉の国はまだ先だ。なんだか盛り上がってきたな。こんなことが許されるはず。 あいつを止めない限り終わらない。死んだのか。体をよこせ。妹は助けてやる。終わらせるぞ。秋田。で、来るんだろ一緒に。
All right.
That's
wow.
coming on in a couple
Comes out-
weeks.
Yeah, it comes out at the end of the month. So Ghostwire Tokyo. This game, you know the vibe I'm getting from this.
Which is
Bright Memory meets. Let's say Bright Memory meets. God, it was another game. I just had it on the tip of my tongue.
I don't know if this will be the first M-rated Final
It's-
Fantasy, Brian,
no,
but yeah.
I was gonna say Bright Memory. Damn it. What was that game? Oh yeah, Bright Memory meets Gantz.
Yeah, I've always been very weirded out about first-person games that's not shooters when they do this. Like Mirror's Edge was probably the first game I played that wasn't a first-person shooter and it was focused on something else other than shooting. And it took a minute to get used to that concept because Mirror's Edge was actually pretty dope concept, free running in first person.
Mm-hmm.
But this definitely you're doing a lot of. You're not using guns. You're definitely using more magic-based attacks, and that's going to be kind of different.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I might get it at some point, but it's not like on my must. Like I gotta get it, but it's definitely a good concept. I ain't gonna knock it. It's definitely different. I mean, maybe I might get it. I don't know. We'll see. Forspoken. That's the next one.
Oh, I know a couple of dude bros that are pretty.
Black people. Ugh.
Yeah, they're pretty.
Looks pretty dope to me. I don't know what to tell you there, buddy.
They're pretty upset about the main protagonist, but let's watch this.
It
I
is
know
quite
about this.
beautiful.
Looks nice though.
Yeah.
I like it.
And
Yeah.
everything here
I
wants to
forgot
kill
Square
you,
Enix is doing this.
No, I'm a world changer. They don't make them like me anymore. That's why I'm so dangerous. Nothing can stop me. You can't quench the fountain. Nothing can get in my way. I have to move the mountains. I'm at the top of the world. Anything goes. Nothing can stop me. I'm on top of the world.
Let's finish this.
You better buckle up. On a whole nother dimension.
Forspoken. Later this year, October.
All right.
Good shit.
If I can get my hands on the PS5, I'll try
Should
to
be
get
easier.
One
But
can
yeah.
hope. They haven't been easy lately.
Yeah. But yeah, Brian, I don't think Strangers in Paradise is like their first M-rated. Because I mean, you could probably say maybe Final Fantasy 15 a little bit. It has some M-rated stuff in it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I mean, I don't know. What is M-rated at this point? Because it's you know, who knows?
In current year.
Yeah, in current year. But this is the one that has me giddy as shit. because this is the one that kind of, it seems like collections. We talked about this. Collections are the big thing here, and yeah, this one is going to be the one that got everybody like, oh shit, I'm in. This bad boy, because I'm pretty sure you're going to be fucking giddy as shit when you see it.
Uh-oh. Yes.
Everything.
I heard.
Yep.
Oh, man. Classic.
Oh, and the
Tournament fighters. Let's go. And I hope it's the English and Japanese version. The arcade game. Manhattan Project. Okay. Turtles in Time. But is it the arcade version of Turtles in Time?
Tournament Fighters from the Genesis.
Okay. Save, rewind, and more. There it is, the arcade version of Turtles in Time. The game has been saved.
Woo. That's everything.
We're getting all of them. All of the good ones. The only ones that matter.
Coming 2022. Which if I know them, they're gonna probably time that with the other Turtles game that's dropping.
Yeah, Shredder's Revenge. Hold on. This makes so much sense because you want to know why this is possible?
Why?
So before we started recording, I read that Sony had acquired the rights of various Konami IPs.
Really?
Yes. They got the rights to various Konami IPs.
Turtles being one of them, clearly.
This being one of them. So I said, oh, okay, Sony.
So Sony, did you flex for Metal Gear? That's all I'm asking.
Metal Gear was on the list. Metal Gear's on the list. So when I heard about this, I said I felt like your boy friggin' Sharon at the end of John Wick 3. Well played, sir.
So does this mean that Sony owns Metal Gear, or just can you only use the license?
I think they're just using the license for stuff like this. But they did acquire the rights. That's the only thing I read was just they acquired the rights of like a bunch of Konami IPs.
So this one, I say it wholeheartedly as a fan of the franchise that I am very trepidatious about this game because the arcade version, the arcade of its brethren feels more superior to this, but I'm curious on where this is going to go. This is for Gundam Evolution. Because I'm only down on it because I feel there should be more suits than what it is. And clearly this is Bandai Namco trying to be Overwatch with Gundams. So we'll see. It looks interesting.
All right, you got regular Zaku.
Barbatos.
Yeah. RX-78.
Gun Sniper, GM.
I'm about to say, wasn't that the Stein?
Gun Tank. Free to play, by the way. I want people to understand that.
That's cool. All right, I'm with you. There definitely needs to be more suits.
Yeah. Oh, Gundam. Gundam Exia. All right. So
Yeah,
they added the
that was
Exia. So they added the Exia to it. All right. It's just to me, after playing Gundam Extreme Versus, it's like you can't. I need more suit variety.
Well, okay, you got to give you gotta give a little bit of leeway because Gundam Extreme Versus that you're talking about a game series that's been around for like 6+ years, and
I
each
know.
game they just dumped suits into the game.
And it's fun. It's really fun for
Yeah.
it. So this is definitely for us, for the anime fans, and I am very curious to see this. Now, bear in mind, this is for a game that came out for the PlayStation 3, and this is an updated version of this with more characters added to it. And I'm hoping this means they also updated the quality of life, gameplay wise, of this. This is JoJo Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R, first announcement trailer.
So
It looks nice.
Okay, so it's another. So it's an update to the one from PS3.
Yeah. Updated graphics and more characters they added to this one.
やれやれって感じだわ。ここで決着をつける。
Mm-hmm.
こちらぶっ飛びな。僕は回転の力を身につけたい。図に乗るんじゃねえぞ。どう？無駄無駄無駄無駄。遅いんだよ。脱出する。何の？ほらほらほらほら。覚悟はいいか。俺はできた。知れ者が。にょ。シャボン玉だ。今こそここは私が。そしに策がある。オラが守ると。行くぞ。協力してやる。オラ先生。ストレッチ。ハモン。罰の時間だ。流し込む。よくも。惨殺処刑だ。チャリオッツ。あ、行くわよ。始末させてもらうぞ。
すべて超えてやる。そのまま眠りな。
てめえ。
全力で
打ちかますぞ。
Oh, am I tired of the cell shading graphics? Not really, but it's definitely getting overused.
Yeah, I'm not getting tired of it.
Early fall, so yeah. You know what? I'm not tired of the cell shading, but again, this game came out PlayStation
12.
3, 20. I think this is a 2013 game.
Yeah,
2013. Yeah, so I mean, that was the thing back when this game came out, was cell shading. I'm not tired of it. I am curious. I mean, look, it looks better than that fucking Jump All-Star bullshit.
Yeah, that was terrible.
That was fucking hot
garbage.
I mean, and I wasn't even, you know me, as many years that we've been going to anime conventions, I was never like huge into the Jump S games like the Naruto and was it Battle Stage DPN? Whatever.
Yeah, no, Battle Stage DON, Dragon Ball, One
it's
Piece,
like
Naruto.
And I mean, look, there's a fan base for it, so I'm not gonna knock it. It's just it was never my thing. People loved it. That's the mainstay of anime conventions, is those games, but it was never for me. I did appreciate the Naruto games because the roster size were fucking huge as the show kept going with each Naruto game that came out. So I was like, all right, cool. That's nice. But so I think the JoJo game is going to appeal to us that likes JoJo, and that's what you're going to get. So, it is what it is. This is the one that I'm like, I feel this is the spiritual sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, because I'm really
hold on, Street Fighter 5? Nah, not Street Fighter 5. This game is pretty old. It's like pseudo Street Fighter 4 graphics.
Late Street Fighter 4.
But it plays nothing like Street Fighter 4. But go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, from what I heard about this game, it's better than the Jump games in terms of they really lean heavily on the fighting game aspect of this versus just it being like a arena fighter,
right,
so to speak, which that bodes well for this game. And as the trailer showed, 50 plus characters, which I'm like, well, goddamn, I might be in on this.
Yep.
This one, I feel this is the spiritual successor to Ghost of Tsushima. It's Trek of Yomi, which
Trek to Yomi. Let's see.
Mix of gameplay and this looks nice. Might get this game.
Yeah, I wouldn't even...
お前がしたものとも今や
守ることができまい。
It's like the intro to Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, it is Onimusha vibes. You're right.
Yeah, Onimusha, Ninja Gaiden. I love the scale of this. I love the way it looks. Trek the Yomi. Kagura, wait, freaking Akio Otsuka? Okay. That's the same one who was the motion capture. I think he was the motion capture and voiceover for the Japanese Solid Snake for the first first 4 Metal Gear Solid games.
Ghost of Tsushima meets Ninja Gaiden meets Onimusha meets Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Todd.
Pretty apt.
Yes.
I'm interested. Hey, look. Tsunami was on the money with Ghost of Tsushima. I was bullshitting with him like, I don't know, man. And then Ghost of Tsushima came out. I was like, well, goddamn, I feel stupid. So you know what, Trek the Yomi, you might got my money. You might have my money. Not even going to lie.
See what happens when you listen to me.
Well, it's not like I wasn't. It was
like
just,
listen to your boy, okay?
Just say it. It's like, we'll see.
And I'm like, no. While everybody's trying to hype up freaking what was that game? Freaking Last of Us 2. I was like, screw that game. Ghost of Tsushima. This is what we need to be hyping.
Yeah, and it was you were proven right because everybody was like, "Yo, you gotta play Ghost of Tsushima. It's so dope." Gigabash. I missed the trailer for this because I was like, when the state of play happened, I was like busy with other stuff, so I missed this. So this is Gigabash.
Right,
I don't know what the fuck this is.
Let's see what they talking about. Oh wait, I think I heard about this.
The kaiju game.
I did see this. Okay.
Huh. Power Stone with kaiju.
We got Destroyer right there. Gigabash. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, like kaiju fucking Power Stone. Which, I mean, I guess I'll play it. Why not? The last two. So, all right. These are JRPGs. We got Valkyrie Elysium, which I think this is the sequel, sort of, to Valkyrie Chronicles. I think. Don't quote me on this, but I think it is. Yeah, Pacific Rim game. Yep.
Gigabash was you're not lying.
Or
the Godzilla was it Destroy All Monsters Melee.
Which those games were low-key fun as
They
hell.
were a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think this is the sequel to Valkyrie Chronicles.
It's made by Square Enix. Yeah, could be.
Okay,
If
it is.
the will to fight still lingers within you, then accept my offer and join me.
Very Devil May Cry-ish. And that is not a bad thing.
Valkyrie, heed my words. Ragnarok tears our world asunder. All we hold precious lies on the brink of annihilation. Become my tool of intervention. and save this world from doom.
Yeah, Valkyrie profile.
Yeah, I just saw it. It is, yeah, it is a sequel to Valkyrie Profile. So yeah.
So, hey Square, is somebody at Square Enix a fan of Platinum games?
I mean, I played the original Valkyrie Profile. It's actually a pretty dope game. So the fact that it's getting a
Your
sequel,
efforts to remain undetected are lacking.
Hmm.
Reveal yourself.
oh shit.
Who are you?
Yeah, the fact that it's getting a sequel after so long, because Valkyrie Profile came out in damn, it shit came out in 99? Fuck.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Remember when they proposed that Final Fantasy Fighters game that just became Final Fantasy 15? Feels like that. Well,
I thought 15 was based off of Versus 13.
it was like
That
15,
was a fighter, or I thought Versus 13 was its own
no,
separate
Versus
thing?
13 was supposed to be something something separate, and then that evolved into the the Final Fantasy 13 games where we had lightning, but
Lightning Returns and all that shit.
and they gave us 3 of those. And then Final Fantasy,
Don't remind me, sir. Do not
Right.
remind me of that shit.
And then Final Fantasy 15 comes out with Noctis, who who we saw at the end, I mean, in that freaking trailer of the original Final Fantasy Versus 13.
Yeah.
God, looking back on that trailer, that was from like 2005.
Yeah, we had Valkyrie Profile came out in 99. Valkyrie Profile 2 came out on the PlayStation 2 in 2006. You had the DS game that came out in 09, and now 13 years later we finally get a proper sequel that follows up the second game. Well, actually, no, it follows up the first game, because I forgot the sequel, Valkyrie Profile 2, took place. It was a prequel to Valkyrie Profile.
Mm-hmm.
So it took them long enough to do that. Yeah, so that was a state of play. They, like I said, very heavily Japanese focused state of play.
Which I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, the state of plays this year so far have been like the first one they did was very no duh. We just went, when you're going to drop the games, and then they surprised us with the Turtles Shredder's Revenge, game.
I still can't wait
All right,
to play
cool.
that. I still cannot wait to play Shredder's Revenge. Every time, and shout outs to our boy Iron Pinky, because he did the artwork for Shredder's Revenge. Really good artist. I got a nice collection of his art on my walls. I'm really hoping that more art gets revealed for that front cover. And come on, please give us Casey Jones. Casey Jones needs to be a playable character in this game.
I mean, it's a layup. It's an easy layup if you're.
I mean, adding April O'Neil was a beautiful touch. I was very surprised and happy for that. And then adding Splinter and then seeing his gameplay, even more amazing. The cherry on top, the freaking chef's kiss, the Salt Bay is Casey Jones. Give me Casey Jones.
Gotta do it. Just
a pinch of that salt. Throw that on the sand. Oh, throw that on the meat and call it a day. Call that joint done. You throw Casey Jones and give us a freaking release date. That's a wrap.
Yeah. Batman Gotham Knights is dropping in October.
Finally got a release date.
Yeah, finally got a release date. F-Zero X is dropping on the Switch Online library. About fucking time. I don't know why it wasn't on there already. Because
wait, F-Zero GX?
No, F-Zero X.
Because I remember there was F-Zero AX and
GX was the one on GameCube, right?
But AX was the arcade, so it's F-Zero X.
Yeah, it was on the 64.
Oh, okay, so that's right. The 64 version. Man, they need to give us the freaking GameCube. The GameCube version was the shit. GX was the shit.
So there's a reason why Square Enix, was really giving us a lot of the news of the game. Babylon's Fall is utter trash,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been getting killed in reviews. Yeah,
I always love these apology attempts from Square Enix. I love it
it's
when
like
they
just
do
when
it.
they were doing so well, and then boom, yeah.
Their apology attempts is, okay, look, we messed up with this game. This game is terrible. You all hate it. Here is a slew of amazing games for you. There, please. Please forget about that trash.
Here you have an action RPG that has microtransactions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not good. And it's like apparently there's nothing in it that makes it even engaging to want to get, especially when you just had Elden Ring dropping. So you already fucking up.
I mean,
off rip.
Did anybody not learn anything from the last Deus Ex?
I mean,
you would think they would have learned.
You would think, but you know, sometimes you need to get popped upside the head to realize, you can't do that. You just,
It's like the internet, man. People don't forget.
I know, right? Like
people don't forget.
I mean, yeah. It's I'm gonna be honest with you. On top of that, Nintendo, I feel with the new Pokemon game they dropped, they really can't go back to the old style of Pokemon games now.
No, I wouldn't even.
You put out this new Pokemon Atreus where it's like it's Pokemon Atreus, Arceus. My bad. I don't say why I say Atreus. Arceus is everything that folks wanted the Pokemon games to be from like jump when they made the leap to 3D.
This is what I will accept because
I accept no less than this on the next iteration. And they just announced a new generation with the new Pokemon. So
the only reason why I say I don't, this is the only reason why I accept it because back on the Wii U, this was a missed opportunity, a big missed opportunity to make Pokemon Snap for the Wii U because you had the gamepad, you had two cameras, got a front camera and a back camera, and you could have easily did something with that.
Yeah, they they announced the new Pokemon games, Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet.
Which aren't they supposed to be? Aren't they just re-releases of previous Pokemon games like they've been doing?
It's brand new.
Brand new. Okay.
It's coming out later this year, which I'm like, all right.
You all have fun with that. Sorry, I don't play Pokemon games.
Hey, look, I've been playing Brilliant Diamond and it's been fun, but I haven't played Arceus. Maybe I'll get it. I don't know. But they announced the new starters, and I'm just like, all right, cool. It's just, hey, man, if you're going to release these games, it has to match to the new Pokemon games, or else people are going to be like, ugh.
Mm-hmm.
You got a grass. The starters is basically it's a grass Pokemon. It's a grass cat Pokemon, which is new. Sprigatito.
Okay.
You have a fire starter that's a crocodile, which I'm like, all right, Fuecoco. And you have a aptly named water Pokemon Duck, which is interesting. Duckling, which is a Quaxley.
All right.
So yeah, I'm all right. I just need gameplay. I need gameplay, and I want to know because like I said, you put out Arceus and it made everybody love it, but what exactly are you? What's your gameplay looking like? Because if it's the same shit, people are gonna be like, don't know about that, Chief. So don't know.
Well, here's to the future of gaming.
You know what's funny? I have been digging G4. They're finally starting to get their legs now. They're putting out a lot of content now.
Oh, they start putting out problematic content.
Nah, no problematic content. Nothing lately, which I'm shocked. Since our last time we talked, nothing ridiculous, which I'm like, all right, maybe they heard, maybe they didn't want to deal with the bullshit. So they've been focusing heavily on games, and it's weird because I said it before. It feels like G4 is playing catch up when they review older games, and I'm like,
they are.
Why are we talking about Borderlands 3? They came out like 2 years ago.
Why are we talking about God of War?
I'm not mad about it because I get it.
Why are we talking about God of War? That came out in 2018.
Well, to be fair, they did put God of War out on PC, so it makes sense to revisit it with Ragnarok coming out. So I get it. I totally get it.
Still good.
Which, by the way, God of War on PC looks fucking ridiculous.
It looks exactly how the PS4 and 5 version should have been playing. But
I mean, look, you know what? Even playing on the PS4, I was still surreal. It was still surreal seeing that big ass fucking snake. It
the
didn't
Hydra.
the Hydra. It didn't feel like the fact that it was still lingering in the background. I'm shocked that it didn't fuck up the graphics quality of the game. Having that thing still kind of like moving around as you're looking up. I'm shocked that it didn't fuck it up.
No, but that's usually that's usually how it goes when you have an in-house game. In-house games typically are optimized.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Like everything from Sony's wheelhouse is usually optimized.
Even Kojima to a degree.
Yeah, of course, Kojima. Most of his games are always optimized.
Because wasn't he the first one to be like, "Hey, I optimized the shit out of the PlayStation and it's been great." And I'm like, "Well, of course."
Yeah, because the majority of his games were always on PlayStation.
Well, yeah, that too. So, yeah. Oh, lastly, so I beat Horizon Forbidden West. It's a fun game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, very open world, just like Horizon Zero Dawn. You can find all the gameplay on our YouTube channel and stuff. That was a very fun and very long game, which I beat, and I still got a lot of side story content I didn't play through. And I'm like, wow, so I leveled out, maxed out my character, but there's still so much side story. And I'm like, fuck, so much to do. Which I am going to upgrade it to the PlayStation 5 to see how much of a leap in quality graphics wise it is from the PlayStation 4.
Well, you are going to get a frame rate bump.
Mm-hmm. And loading times.
Yeah, that too.
Because the loading times kicks in.
Because you upgraded your SSD, right? You bought what, a 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, or something?
I'm about to, but I didn't update it. I didn't upgrade it yet. But
you didn't put it in your PS5 yet?
Nah. I mean, all the games I got for the PlayStation 5 have been digital anyway, so
yeah,
like the load times have been very seamless. Like
but you know those games take up a ton of space.
I still got a lot of space left.
I mean, shit, look at Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Well, I haven't put that on the PlayStation yet, so I know that shit's gonna probably be like, oh, you need this much room. I'm like, fuck.
And look at the Kingdom Hearts games.
I'm not getting that shit on PlayStation 5. You can kiss my ass on that one. Not even for the Switch.
The digital version on PS4?
Nah, I got all the hard copies. I bought the collections. I bought 1.5, 2.5, and 3
for a PS4.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah, because I was all excited. I was like, finally, I could play the final mix without it being all Japanese.
Yeah.
Because trust me, folks, that was the ghetto, and I had to use GameFAQs to figure out stuff. And we
both did.
That was not fun. I'm sorry. I thought it would be easy, but it's not fun.
No, and then think about all the years of playing that game, and then finally somebody, this god, this god among men, released the English patched version of Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix.
Too bad I couldn't take advantage of that shit. So
I took full advantage. I was like, "Yep, swap magic. Here we go."
Of course you did. I mean, well, that was the only way I was playing them was because you gave me the swap magic thing. But still, I never downloaded the fan.
Oh yeah, as soon as I had heard that an English patched version was out, I was like, "Oh, I'm downloading that right now." Because around this time, that's when they had put out those Final Fantasy, those PS2 Final Fantasy games. They call them the undubbed version. So you're getting English menus, English text, but all of the voiceovers were in Japanese.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Ed Boon is saying that they don't worry. They're gonna probably be doing more Mortal Kombat, at some point to follow up 11. Which I'm like, all right, just need to see that gameplay.
They're doing more Mortal Kombat, which I guess that's fine. I mean, if they fix that game's identity problem, because that's really
think it has an identity problem?
It does. Mortal Kombat, dude, come on. Look at the path. Okay, I'm gonna start right here. I'm gonna start right here with MK9.
All right,
it knew its identity. It knew what it was from the jump. we start making the transition into MK, like the Mortal Kombat 10. You try to hold on to a little bit of what, to the sex appeal of MK9 and all that stuff. You're holding on to it for dear life. MK11, non-existent. Almost nothing. You took away what made Mortal Kombat in the first place. You kept the gore, but then suddenly you're scared of being sexy. It's like,
I don't know if they're scared of being sexy.
Dude, they're scared.
How you figure?
Dude,
I'm looking at the game. I mean, it's not like the chicks aren't looking. I mean,
I'm just saying, look at MK9 and then look at MK11.
I mean, you think they got 2 esports for their own good?
Not even 2 esports. I really do think they've been listening to too many motherfuckers on Twitter who would never even buy their damn game in the first place and just bent the knee for no fucking reason.
Meanwhile, Street Fighter V tripled down on Laura and all those characters. So
yeah, Street Fighter V gave costume options. That's the thing. Those are just options. You go into.
MK11 could have benefited from costume options.
Yes, MK11 could have. Matter of fact, for all the freaking microtransactions and freaking random, RNG bullshit that you went through in the crypt just to get stuff, just to get articles of clothing for characters, you still took away. You tried to make Mortal Kombat, the characters, you tried to make them realistic when they were never realistic in the first place. You're talking about a series of games where everybody has at least died once and they always come back. That's the thing with Mortal Kombat. No one ever stays dead.
Oh, real quick. Before we go back to that, yes, LT, I'm in the same boat, and I still have not beaten Lightning Returns.
I'm laughing at both of you. I'm laughing at both of you for punishing yourselves to buy those games in the first place.
I beat Final Fantasy 13-2, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna play Lightning Returns, and then that just never transpired because other games kind of took over, and I was like, I'll get back to it. And then I panicked when PlayStation was talking about shutting down the PlayStation 3 store, and I was like, oh shit, let me get this game, and then PlayStation was like, you know what, we're not gonna do that. And I'm like,
you know what, we're gonna walk it back.
So yeah, PlayStation, put it this way, Lightning Returns is definitely on deck offline for me to play just so I can beat that fucking game and just keep it on the shelf to say I got it. But yeah, back to the fighting games.
I'm serious, and I will still hold on to that and I plant that fucking flag. Mortal Kombat has an identity issue. They have an identity crisis. They need to get a grip on themselves and understand what the hell made them who they are in the first place. The sooner they get with the program and say, hey, you know what? Fuck Twitter and fuck everything else. We're going to go back and do what we did that made us great, that made people love us to begin with.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
never mind the special guests. I applaud the special guests. They knocked it out of the park with MK11, MK10, and even MK9 with the special guests that they brought in. But they just got to fix it. Fix your identity. Go back and make the characters exaggerated and all that shit like you've done in the past. And I'm not saying that, as someone who, I'm stuck in my ways. I'm living in the past. No, just don't let what the 10 people that are never going to buy your game dictate the direction of where you want your series to go.
Speak to Ed Boon on that one.
I'm saying that directly to Ed Boon. Hell, you can share it. You can clip this and send this to him. I'm dead serious. Ed Boon, Warner Brothers, NetherRealm. Give me MK9. From an aesthetic, I want MK9.
Let's hope. I mean, do you have any expectations for Street Fighter 6? Because they really that teaser trail, they really are going all in on Luke being the face of Street Fighter 6, and I'm like, good luck on that.
I think Luke is going to turn out exactly how Alex turned out in Street Fighter 3 at the beginning of Street Fighter 3.
Fuck about Alex.
They really tried.
I like the character concept of him being a grappler and not a Shoto. I think that was a dope concept. But
I guess
people wanted their Ryu and Ken.
I guess the MMA thing and them saying that this takes place
after
finally, not just right, and it's not right after Street Fighter, like Third Strike.
Years.
We're going 15 whole years after the events of Third Strike. Okay, cool.
That's
so we got 6. We got more bearded Ryu, and let me guess, we're gonna get bearded Ken, and just throw a beard on everybody.
Sir, we're not gonna get bearded Ken. We're gonna get Dubro ponytail Ken. All right, let's get that straight right now.
Stop it, Chris, because you're giving me an idea. Please don't please don't tell me enough time is gonna pass and he's gonna come out looking like fucking Terry Silver Ken.
We're gonna get Terry Silver Ken. They're not gonna put Sean in it because apparently Capcom. Look, I'm gonna tell you right now. Capcom saw that Sean was so great in Second Impact. They were like, "Hey, go ahead and nerf that motherfucker for Third Strike."
Which I have no idea why.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I
really
don't get it whatsoever why they did that shit.
But you know what? No, considering that he was a main character in third, like throughout all 3 Street Fighter games, because he technically was supposed to be the only Shoto in that game, until fans wanted Ryu and Ken back. Again, this is what happens when you try to
do something different.
Not even do something different. This is what happens when you try to get away from your own identity, Street Fighter.
I mean, it's nothing wrong with doing a game that's you want to do, as the title of Street Fighter was, new generation. I get it.
It's supposed to be fine. It's supposed to be a new generation, but at the same time, Capcom, that team was doing things completely different. In fact, the game was supposed to it wasn't even supposed to be called Street Fighter. It was just going to be called New Generation. It was just a new generation fighting game. I sat back and I watched that documentary about what happened to Street Fighter 3, and I highly recommend that you guys watch Matt McMuscle's documentary on the What Happened series of Street Fighter 3. It's a really good watch. For them to go this route with Street Fighter 6. First of all, that logo, I don't particularly care.
That's very slapped together.
It's very slapped together. This was like super.
We need a PowerPoint presentation. Slap Street Fighter 6. That
not even PowerPoint. No, I won't even give it that credit of saying PowerPoint presentation. I look at that Street Fighter 6 and the way that shit is positioned, dude. That thing looks like a freaking. That thing looks like a messenger icon. With with that 6 being the unread messages that popped up. It's a notification app.
It's giving very UFC-esque logos.
Yeah, it's definitely UFC. But you want to know something funny? When you play when you play Resident Evil 3 remake, get towards the end of the game, and you see that fight between Nikolai and Carlos, right? I made the joke, and a lot of people also made the joke. They said, hold up, we're seeing this type of fight in the Resident Evil engine. Was Capcom low-key trying to give us a glimpse of what Street Fighter 6 was going to look like? And here we are. Street Fighter 6 is running on the Resident Evil engine.
Which do you foresee them showing more Street Fighter 6 at EVO?
I would hope so. I mean, it would definitely be a wasted opportunity if they didn't.
Because we don't know. I mean, that's the weird thing. It's like,
and EVO's coming this summer, so
yeah, EVO's coming this summer. Do you think they'll have any sort of gameplay, like an idea of what it could be?
I will say this: as long as I see a gameplay trailer, an actual gameplay trailer, not some concept bullshit, I'll be happy if they show that at EVO. But I say that with a grain of salt because anything can happen. The trailer can be revealed, and people are going to be, people are either going to like or they're going to hate this game. So,
it's
as much as at this point, some people say that Street Fighter 5 has definitely divided the fan base, because Street Fighter 5 is definitely a case of a game of you either love it or you hate it.
Late season 2 is where people started coming around to it, but I would say probably, like you said, season 3 is when people finally were like, "Oh shit, I love this game now." Because everybody didn't like season 2 update because they felt it took away a lot of offensive option for characters.
Yeah, but then you saw what happened with Daigo.
Yeah,
and season 3 happened. He drops Ryu
and went Gao.
Yeah.
And Gao did get a big boost in season 3, and that's when everybody was like, "Oh shit, I like Street Fighter 5 now," and because it's a nature of a lot of these developers, like you said with NetherRealm. It feel like Capcom, much like a lot of game developers, they jump the gun in terms of how they patch certain things, and they don't need to do that.
It's like they took characters that were good and they just took away stuff.
Either they went very lateral in their game where their gameplay wasn't really directly affected, or like you just said, they took away tools that helped them, and now they're
The most unnecessary nerfs.
They're nerfed, and you have to work extra hard just to make them viable.
Like, one of the things I still to this day hate Capcom for doing this. They nerfed freaking Armika's Irish Whip.
Yeah, that character was like blowing up in season 1.
Yeah, that move where she whips you into the corner. You know, now you have to actually be at a corner in order for her opponent to bounce off of the corner, which I thought was stupid.
You used to be able to do it like in the middle of
do
the
it from
screen.
anywhere.
Yeah. Which, I mean, maybe that's what made her broken in the first place, that you could just do that shit any fucking where. So maybe I get it, I guess, but it was
I don't really count that as broken. I mean, first of all, you just block. Because the move has to connect, and it's not like it's an actual throw. If you're not blocking and she does that move, I mean, she does the animation, all the animation has to do is connect if you're not blocking, because you can still block it and be fine. That move does leave her pretty open if she, on block.
Yeah. Yeah. So
it's not like it wasn't punishable. It was definitely punishable.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some gameplay for Street Fighter 6. I need some more info because, like I said, the trailer didn't give me anything except Buter reboot, Ryu staring down fucking Luke, and I'm like, all right, I guess.
That's why I didn't care. Like, I saw like everybody was going nuts, like, oh my god, Street Fighter 6. I'm like, okay, where's the gameplay?
Meanwhile, I'm looking at Square Enix like, TikTok, motherfucker, for remake part 2.
Remake part 2. Give us remake part 2.
Because you said 2022, and I'm like, where's the news? You put out a state of play today. Where's the news? Because you can only ride Intergrade for so long. Intergrade shut everybody up for like a month.
For a single month.
A single month. People were like, oh shit, Intergrade, we finally got a follow-up to Final Fantasy Remake. And then you left us with, oh, you just teased us for Vincent.
Yep.
Which I'm like, cool, but like, where's the remake part 2? Don't fuck us.
Why I got a feeling the next game is going to be Intergrade 2, and it's all Vincent's story. They're like, it's like, hey, we got Yuffie's story out of the way. Now we're going to give you Vincent's story, and then we're going to give you part 2.
All I'm asking is, can I carry over my stuff into these things?
Like, CJ, listen, you got to understand, dude. This is the same company that for the better part of a decade, hell, 2 decades, they were terrified to remake Final Fantasy VII because they know how high regarded and highly loved that game is, that it's impossible for them to mess that up. They cannot mess that game up.
I had hope. Like 2020, we got Final Fantasy Remake. Cool. 2021.
It's got part 1.
They gave us Intergrade with the Final Fantasy VII Remake boost for PS5. Like, all right, you're on the roll, Square. You're finally giving us something. We're getting there. And then I'm like, all right, so we're in 2022. So what about Remake Part 2? Crickets. And I'm like, if y'all go a whole nother fucking year without Remake Part 2, you're gonna have a lot of people on your fucking necks.
This is why I've just sat back and I said, I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for all the episodes to come out, and then I'll play it. Because you'll
have kids by the time that fucking shit happens, the way they've been bullshitting with this.
And guess what? If I don't play it, and if it takes too fucking long and I don't play it, then whatever. Because me personally, I hated that idea that they were going to go episodic in the first place.
I think they just did that because it felt as though if they just did it all in one hit, it would have took them way longer, and people weren't trying to wait for that shit.
But people just wanted the original game with updated graphics. That's real, and they've been asking for that since the PS3. Since that damn tech demo, Square they painted themselves into a corner when they did that. I bet you any of my money they were They lost sleep after doing that shit.
They did, because I mean that tech remake was it was basically them trying to do that shit for Final Fantasy VII Advent children, basically. That's all it was.
And then even before that,
and Crisis Core.
Like, remember all those sequel and prequel games that came out, and it just kept poking the freaking hornet's nest. Like, it always leads up to Cloud being on that train, going into the Shinra, the freaking Mako reactor, it always leads to the same damn beginning of Final Fantasy VII. Every last one of them. And every time we see this shit, we're all sitting back going, all right, Square, are y'all gonna stop bullshitting and give us the game? Can you at least update the game? People wanted it on PS2, people wanted it even more on PS3. Can we just get something? We finally get it on PS4.
Yeah.
And of course the game, and it gets patched over to PS5.
I mean, because like I said, it's like it. Yeah,
but I get it. There are portions of that game that are actually quite rough.
What?
I'm talking about the original.
Oh yeah, it's definitely rough. Good chunk of it is rough.
From a rough translation to certain gameplay elements and even some story parts are also kind of rough that they need to update for modern times, and I'm fine with that. When they said that this is not going to be a 1-to-1 remake of the exact same story, the same way the story was told in the original game, it's not going to be like that with this remake. Hence the whole point of the game being called remake and not a remaster.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just at this point I'm looking at Square Enix like, all right, man, y'all gonna have to shit or get the fuck off the pot with this one, because it's just
In the meantime, while we've heard nothing but crickets for for part 2, we did get the Final Fantasy remaster collection of the first 6 Final Fantasy games.
Have fun with that.
I mean, everybody who's ever played the Final Fantasy 6 that was released on, I think it was on PS1 and like other consoles, a lot of people have actually had problems with those ports, and now supposedly these remasters that have been released are actually the best versions of those games.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, they need to change up them fucking fonts, which I think didn't fans do like a font update?
I think they did, and the game's already out.
Yeah,
like Final Fantasy 6, like an actual legit game I can play on Steam is available.
Yeah.
And the reviews for it have been pretty positive. Yeah, it came out February 23rd. In fact, the whole bundle is out. Final Fantasy 1 through 6.
I had to say for the record, all the shit that's happening with Russia right now, and the fact that all these companies are doing this bullshit gesture of, we are no longer, Sony's all like, yeah, we're no longer selling any of our games in the Russian PlayStation store. And I'm like, that doesn't fucking help Ukraine, you dumb motherfuckers. Like all these gestures. At first I was kind of like, all right, I get it. And then it just over time, I'm just sitting back looking at all these companies like, this does nothing for Ukraine. You're fucking over the Russian people more than anything, because I'm pretty sure Putin doesn't have a fucking PlayStation 5. So what does he care?
I'm pretty sure
you're punishing the Russian people for the fuckery of the government and Putin. Like, what the fuck, man? Like,
I can imagine him getting angry because he can't play his updated version of Frontier Saga.
Putin can't play fucking Skullgirls. He's pissed off. He's about to shoot nukes off. I'm just tired of all. I saw that shit today about Sony and talking about we pledge, we're not doing. I'm like, no, what the fuck does that got to do with damn Ukraine, dog? Like, what are we doing?
This does nothing.
Nothing. All these dumbass gestures. It's just as dumb as the fucking black box shit on IG for Black Lives Matter. It's like, nigga, you don't fucking care. What are we doing here? Solidarity. And I'm like,
again, this helps.
No, I didn't put that bullshit on my fucking damn IG. I'm like, for what? For what? Did you join in with everybody else? Nah, I'm good. Just
like I said, this helps nobody.
This helps nobody. It's in other news, I heard the Japanese apparently hold Urien, Luke, and Cammy as S tier in Street Fighter V.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I know Urien is a pretty.
Tobanga TV released their tier list.
Yeah, I know Urien is pretty good. You said Chun-Li?
So here's the tier list. S is Urien, Luke, and Cammy.
Mm-hmm.
A tier is Balrog, Chun-Li, M. Bison, Colin. Dalsim,
Colleen. Mm-hmm.
Colleen, Dalsim, Gao, Karen, Poison, and Rashid.
Okay.
B tier: Cody, G, Jury, Minot, and Zeku. C tier: Abigail, Vega, Laura, Birdie, Seth, Akuma, Falk, and Zangief. D tier: Akira, Sagat, Ken, Ryu, Sakura, Blanca, Ed, and Fang. Damn, I forgot Ed was in this game. E tier: E Honda, Gil, Nash, Alex, Kage, Armika. You remember season 1, Nash and Armika were like fucking top tier?
You mean Armika?
Armika. I remember those two were like top tier easily.
Yeah. I mean, season 1, season 2, Mika was
crazy.
I mean, she was my main. Like, if you go look at my player stats, she's like my most used character.
Karen is the only one that stayed consistent tops.
Yeah.
Regardless of the season. So F tier: Dan, Nikali, Ibuki, Lucia, and Oro. And last tier, bottom tier is Rose. Damn. Now, I want to be real. I think they did an interview with Latif. And one of the things that he complained about is how so much of what's happening right now in the FGC is based off of everybody blaming the game instead of blaming the player. Because I look at this tier list and I'm like, didn't a player win a tournament with Fang recently?
Yes. Like the last big Street Fighter V tournament, Fang won.
And it's a D tier character according to Topanga TV though, but that character won a tournament. So it makes me believe that it's the player more than anything else that kind of can dictate how the character is good if you play to their strengths. So it's like I look at this tier list and I'm like, I guess you could say it's accurate to a degree.
No, CJ, it's the same thing that I've said earlier. Street Fighter V has divided the fan base. I told you, it's at a point where you either like this game or you're going to hate it, regardless of who you're playing against.
Yeah. Yeah, it's.
I mean, it's the same thing that happened when King of Fighters 13. KOF 13 comes out, divided the fan base. You had, people who love the original sprite-based games like 97, 98, and 2002. They were over here. And then everybody moving forward who loved Touch of Death of Fighters play KOF 13.
Yeah, which, by the way, KOF 15 is dope as shit. I love it.
KOF 15 came
Can't wait for the Southtown team to get dropped.
I just want Southtown. Give me Southtown team, and I can get my original. I get my original team of Yamazaki, Billy, and Mary.
Oh, by the way, this is my mantra for KOF 13. Get good, scrubs. Man,
KOF 13 has by far. No, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say this about KOF 13. KOF 13 is the Beatmania 2DX of King of Fighters games because it has the steepest learning curve.
It was like you either get good or fuck off.
It's like if I could use my phone to illustrate the mountain. It's like you're down
top.
It's like you're down here just picking up the game and learning it. How steep is the learning curve? Right there. I mean, it's about that. Yeah. And it's all slippery slopes. Like there's no ridges. You got no type of. You're bouldering this bitch, and it's extremely slippery going up that mountain.
Yeah, it's.
You have no rope. You have no harness. You have nothing. You are bouldering. You are just climbing. And like I said, you have nothing to grip on. So the learning curve is really steep. It's really stupid. And I'm glad that they fixed that in KOF 14 and 15. It's
especially 15.
Yeah, 15. I think the trial, the combo challenge isn't as crazy as 13. Nowhere near as crazy as 13.
God damn it. Why did I not lead off with this when we were talking about it like 10 minutes ago? Okay. I think we might have chatted about this last episode with this, but we finally got confirmation. NVIDIA is releasing the RTX 3090 Ti at the end of this month.
Okay, here's my problem with it. It's the third. Never mind. 3090 Ti. Never mind. I was just gonna say, dude, think about. So a friend of mine who went to Micro Center, he said he's seen in glass cases 3080s and 3080 Ti's. He told me
3090 is going 1500 apparently.
1500. Okay, that's pretty standard.
Well, that's 30. The 3090 is going for 15, but they said the Ti could close to 2K.
Okay, welcome to pandemic era AMD cards.
Welcome to my ass saying, "Ouch, Jesus."
The 6900 XT, $2,500 card.
Suck my dick, man. No.
I get no blow with that.
I get no blow. Just me sitting in my car looking at it like
I'm sitting there doing the Kobe championship picture. I'm just holding the car and I'm pissed off.
Look, I resisted the urge for years not to give in to scalpers for a PlayStation 5, and I was rewarded with paying retail price for a PlayStation 5. I'm hoping my holding back and not giving in to scalpers will play well for the graphics cards.
I told you,
but it may not look that way. It may not look that way.
Listen, CJ. I told you to do it when I did.
I'm probably gonna do it when TextCom comes. I finally got my stuff together. I might just say fuck it. And
I'm just saying you should have did it when I did it, because that's when the prices were good enough at Micro Center.
Bullshit. All right, I'll admit
they were as good as they were gonna get, because I told you, I said, dude, I guarantee you, going forward, the price is only going to go up on these damn cards. PC parts in general have gotten stupid expensive. RAM is expensive. CPUs are expensive.
I don't know. Those seem reasonable for what I'm saying. It's the GPUs that's like ridiculous.
Nah, it's all of them across the board.
Because I can still go to Micro Center and get them for good prices.
No. I didn't say. I know they have some good sales going on, but to get the CPUs to run these higher power cards efficiently, those are the ones that cost.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
And it also depends on the motherboard that you want to get too, because you can get a decent motherboard, but if you want to have a card that's not going to bottleneck based off of the CPU that you're running with, you're going to need to dig in them pockets a little bit.
2K for a 3090 Ti?
No, but my friend was telling me that he saw the 3080s, right? 3080 and 3080 Ti. And he asked me, why are the regular 3080s more expensive than the Ti? And he's like, I don't need all that power, but at the same time, why are they costing this much more? And I said, dude, I have no idea. I really don't know. And then of course he asked me, how much did you pay for your 3080 again? And I was like, $1,049. $1,049 was what I paid. And he said, dude, they're selling these things at like, I think he said $1,600, $1,700. And I said, man, I was like, sucks. I said, definitely sucks to be trying to buy a 3080 in current day, like current year. So you should have. I said, listen, I told everybody, if you were trying to get a 3080 at that time, $1,000 is gonna feel like a drop in the bucket 8 months from now.
Probably will when tax time comes and be like, all right, time to go to Micro Center and just get this shit over with. I mean,
you're gonna feel that sting. I was so glad, because I said, dude, I told you, $900,000 between $900,000 and $1,000 is $100 difference. That's my limit. That's my budget. That's the only thing that's the only amount I'm gonna spend on a 3080. Now them damn cars jumped up to freaking $18,000, $19,000, like $2,000. Nope. I would have literally turned back into a console peasant if cards kept going up in price like that. Them price hikes is too much, man.
Also, lastly, going back to what you were saying, GameStop is holding a restock event for PlayStation 5 twice this week.
Okay. Don't get too excited about that. See, what they're trying to do, they're gonna Costco that shit. They're gonna
online was yesterday, but they're doing it in person later this week.
Yeah, but if they're doing what I think they're doing, they're gonna try to put out these bullshit bundles that
cost
way more. It costs way more than than what they cost normal.
It's like $700 to $800 for the bundles, basically.
I don't want it. Do I need an extra controller? No.
You do get a 1 terabyte SSD.
I can go to Micro Center and get one for $89.
Yeah,
tell me another one.
So you got one bundle that costs $658.97, and it contains the console, the digital edition console. By the way, this is the digital edition. Comes with an additional DualSense controller, a PowerA DualSense charging station, a $50 GameStop gift card, a $50 PlayStation Network gift card, and a 12-month subscription to PlayStation Plus. The second bundle costs $668.97 and features the PlayStation Digital Edition with the DualSense controller and power station, but comes with a Samsung 1TB 980 Pro solid-state drive instead of gift cards, which allows you to upgrade the capacity of your PlayStation 5.
It's a 1 terabyte instead of a 2.
I'll take the 2 any day of the week.
I mean, I would have happily just went out and bought a 2 terabyte because let's be real. The 1 terabyte that's already in the PS5 only comes with usable space of that 890 something gigs.
Now, the in-store one that's coming out later this week, that bundle is for the disc edition of the PlayStation 5, and it comes with Gran Turismo 25th anniversary, Gran Turismo 7 25th anniversary edition, Horizon Forbidden West special edition, the charging station, and the cloud headset, and a $50 network gift card, and it runs for $797.
Yeah, that's just too much.
Which, by the way, GT7, great game.
Yeah,
love it. Across the board, it's great. But that's yeah. I mean, it's starting to get better, but like I said, I just need these places just to do what Walmart did and Best Buy did, and just stick to in person. And if you're in line, you're in line, you get it. And if you don't, tough shit, and keep it moving, because at least you don't have to deal with scalpers online. Clogging up the websites. Well, really bots, I should say.
Yeah, the bots. Cause man, I swear what we went through all of 2020 and 2021, like both consoles, PS5 and Xbox was just pure bot food.
Best Buy did the best way. It's like, hey, look, we're going to open at this time. If you get in line early, cool, you'll score one. If you don't, well, good luck.
I mean, and then Sony tried to do the what was it, the queue? Remember the queue, like the queue line?
The queue is just as bullshit as San Diego Comic-Con's queue line.
You had to leave the freaking page up and don't refresh it, don't do anything. Like you literally had to sit at your computer for like 2 hours just waiting.
So fucking stupid.
Which reminds me,
and the only thing you had to do was just log into your freaking PlayStation account for it to work too. So I'm like, ugh.
Which reminds me, are you looking forward to the queue for San Diego Comic-Con for hotels?
Don't fucking remind me of this shit. I'm just I just don't get the point of these queues if it's supposed to help out with alleviating certain things, but it's just random. It's random as shit.
Very random.
So, but yeah, that's pressing buttons. You know, I think we got everything here. Like I said, I think it's timely because State of Play happened, so that worked out very well.
The State of Play, the Capcom and Nintendo madness was happening. Yeah, this was a good time.
Yeah,
like we'll be back when more gaming stuff happens.
All right, guys, we'll catch you later. Thanks for joining, and we'll catch you later. Peace.
Deuces.